Before we start with our discussion for today, may I ask everyone to stand up and bow down your heads for an opening prayer.
Dear Lord, stay by our side this day and guide all of us students throughout the hours. Help us develop faith and character to strengthen the lessons we will learn today so we can retain it in our adult lives. Lord, guide our teachers so that they have the perseverance to perfect the lessons they teach. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
And now you may take your seat. But before I introduce my topic for today, and myself also, let me check first your attendance. Please raise your hand if you're present. Please raise your hand, Juanita. Juan. Gloria. Pedro. Marites. Very good attendance, class. Hello everyone, I am teacher Chris Anahina Ibiñas, your teacher in Introduction to the Philosophy of Human Person. Last meeting, we discussed about the human person as embodied spirit, focusing on how to recognize our own limitations and possibilities. As a sort of review, kindly answer true if the given statement is true and false if the given statement is false. Number 1. Man is not only body, but he is something infinitely higher. Mohandas Gandhi, 1948. If you answer true, then you're correct. Number 2. To recognize your own limitations and possibilities, according to Plato, reality is made up of two words, namely, the world of forms and the world of sense, where human beings participate in both of these different worlds. If your answer is true, then you're absolutely right. Number 3. The world of sense, which is proposed and believed by Heraclitus, is the world of see and experience. Heraclitus proves these true statements. Cold things grow hot, the hot cools, the wet dries. If you answer true, then you get the correct answer again. Number 4. The world of forms, which is proposed by Parmenides, who influenced Plato, in this type of world is a world that is eternal, perfect, and unchanging. If you answer true, then you're correct. Number 5. Parmenides proved the world of forms by his statement, we can speak and think only of what is not exist. If you answer false, then your answer is correct. Do you have any clarification regarding our previous topic? If none, since you know how to recognize your own limitation, now I want you to think of the things you can do and you cannot do. For example, you can sing, but you cannot fly. Are you done? Since you are done, I want you to keep your answer because you can use it as your reference in your activity later. Continue to our topic, the human person as an embodied spirit. We do this learning competency, evaluate all limitations and possibilities for your transcendence. Before you evaluate your own limitations and possibilities for your transcendence, let us define first what is limitations and transcendence. According to Merriam Dictionary, the word limitation is something such as a lack of ability or strength that controls what a person is able to do. While transcendence is the freedom of the soul from the body, its imprisonment. It is also the existence that is present by a normal or physical level. Transcendence means that I am a body, but at the same time, I am more than my body. To make it short, surpassing one's limitation is called transcendence. Now, I will show you a video presentation that shows some successful, well-known individuals go beyond their own limitation or surpass their own limitation.
Rowan Atkinson was born in a middle-class family. He suffered terribly as a child because of his stuttering. He was also teased and bullied at school because of his looks. His bullies thought he looked like an alien. He was soon marked as strange and became a very shy, withdrawn kid who didn't have many friends. So he dived into science. One of his teachers said, "There was nothing outstanding about him. I didn't expect him to become a fantastic scientist, but he proved everybody wrong and got admitted at Oxford University. During his days in Oxford, he started falling in love with acting, but couldn't perform due to his speaking disorder, so he got his master's degree in electrical engineering before appearing in any movie or TV show. So after getting his degree, he decided to pursue his dream and become an actor. So he enrolled in a comedy group, but again, his stammering got in the way. A lot of TV shows rejected him, and he felt devastated. But despite the many rejections, he never stopped believing in himself. He had a great passion for making people laugh, and he knew that he was very good at it. So he started focusing more and more on his original comedy sketches, and soon realized that he could speak fluently whenever he played some character. I found that when I played a character other than myself, the stammering disappeared. But even though he found a way to overcome his stuttering, he also used it as an inspiration for his acting. While studying for his master's, Rowan Atkinson co-created the strange, surreal, and non-speaking character known as Mr. Bean.
Jessica Cox. Jessica Cox is a Filipino-American who was born without arm due to a rare birth defect. She is the world's first licensed armless pilot, and as well as the first armless double black belt in the American Taekwondo Association. Even though she was born with this rare congenital disease, she believes that with commitment and resilience, anyone can overcome any challenge and pursue their dreams with positivity. Jessica can write, type, comb her hair, drive a car, play the piano, and make phone calls all by just using her feet. And she does effortlessly. Jessica's goal is to motivate people around the world on how to overcome new challenges with determination, never doubt their abilities, and inspire enthusiasm to live life to the fullest. She became an inspirational speaker, where she uses her own life as an example of what one can achieve if one is creative, persistent, and fearless, and inspired thousands to overcome their obstacles. Muniba Mazari, aka Iron Lady of Pakistan. Muniba Mazari was born in southern Punjab of Pakistan. At the age of 18, she got married. After 2 years of marriage, she met an accident and the car fell into a ditch, as her husband had fallen asleep while driving. She sustained several major injuries, including broken bones in her arm, ribcage, shoulder blade, collarbone, and spine. Her lungs and liver were also deeply cut. Moreover, the entire lower body was left paralyzed. Post-surgery, she was left bedridden, not for a few months, but for 2 years. Bad days of her life started after the accident. Muniba Mazari's husband divorced her because of her disability, and she was left alone with her adopted son Neil. Not only her husband, but her father also left the family in such pain. She was left helpless. She used to chop her hair off in frustration, but her bravery started dominating all these painful feelings. She started painting in hospital. Physiotherapy helped her recover enough to use a wheelchair. She is a divorced girl and abandoned daughter, but instead of moaning, she summoned up her courage and nourished her adopted son alone. She later became the first anchor who was on a wheelchair. She has also left her imprint in the field of modeling as the first wheelchair-bound model of Pakistan. She also became a singer and motivational speaker, inspired millions around the globe. She also made the National Ambassador for UN Women Pakistan after being shortlisted in the 100 Inspirational Women of 2015 by the BBC. She also made it to the Forbes 30 Under 30 list for 2016. Nick Vujicic. Nick Vujicic was born in 1982 in Melbourne, Australia, without arms or legs. Despite being diagnosed with the rare tetraamelia syndrome, he refused to allow his physical condition to limit his chance at life, and was determined to use his disability as a mission to change people's lives, by showing that even though he was born without limbs, he has the capacity to overcome any circumstances in his life. During his childhood, Nick dealt with the typical challenges at school and adolescent, such as bullying and discrimination, but he also suffered from depression and loneliness, while he questioned why he was born so different from all the other kids. After graduating from college at the age of 21, he found the purpose of his existence, which is to show and inspire people around the world.
Now life, I see as an opportunity. This circumstance, there's got to be something good.
No arms, no legs.
No worries, mate.
They can accomplish as many things as they want by doing most of the things he loves to do, like fishing, painting, and swimming, to show that anything is possible. He became a Christian evangelist and motivational speaker who traveled around the world to motivate and instill hope in millions of people.
There's not a single person on this planet who haven't heard of Starbucks, world's biggest coffee house company. But did you know that the former CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, was born and raised in poverty, barely making ends meet? And when things got really tough, he even had to sell his blood a couple of times. This is the success story of Howard Schultz, how he went from living in poverty and struggling for money to survive to transforming Starbucks into a $100 billion company. And he was just a young boy who never stopped dreaming, and here is why you shouldn't stop too. He was born in a very poor family. He spent his childhood living in a small one-bedroom apartment from a public housing project. His father was an army vet and a truck driver and spent most of his life working low-paid jobs. When Howard was only 7 years old, while delivering diapers, his father fell on the ice and broke his leg. And because of this, he was fired from his job. And with no medical insurance and no savings, his family was struggling for money. That image of his father laying on the couch, feeling hopeless, crushed and defeated, left a permanent mark in his memory. It was one of the biggest defining moments in Howard's life. And to get away from all of these problems, he used to sit on the staircase in his building, dreaming of a better life. He played football in high school and earned an athletic scholarship to go to college, but he didn't want to play sports and decided to major in communications. So to pay for college, he had to take student loans and worked many odd jobs to make ends meet. Few times he even had to sell his blood for money to survive. After graduating from college, Howard worked at a ski lodge and as a salesman, but he had a desire to work at Starbucks. At that time, Starbucks had 3 owners and only sold coffee beans. So at the age of 29, after a full year of convincing the owners to hire him, he finally got a job at Starbucks. While on a business trip to Italy, he walked into an Italian coffee shop and he was fascinated by his experience while drinking coffee. He was amazed by the fact that the owners of the coffee shops actually knew their customers, and they even called them by their names while serving them coffee. Excited, he traveled back to the US, trying to convince the Starbucks owners to accept this incredible new ideas, but the owners rejected him. So Howard quit Starbucks and went on to create his own coffee company called Il Giornale. But he had no money to fund this company. In the course of the year I spent trying to raise money, I spoke to 242 people and 217 of them said no. Try to imagine how disheartening it can be to hear that many times why your idea is not worth investing in. It was a very humbling time. But eventually, enough people believed in his vision and decided to invest in his business. He worked extremely hard to open his first coffee shop where he could replicate the experience he had in Italy and finally implement his ideas. After a few years, Starbucks went bankrupt and Howard bought the company and became CEO of Starbucks. He rebranded his company with the Starbucks name and expanded across the United States. Today, Starbucks has more than 30,000 stores around the world and market value over $100 billion. And Howard has an advice for you. In life, you can blame a lot of people and you can wallow in self-pity, or you can pick yourself up and say, listen, I have to be responsible for myself. I believe life is a series of near misses. A lot of what we ascribe to luck is not luck at all. It's seizing the day and accepting responsibility for your future. It's seeing what other people don't see and pursuing that vision. I feel so strongly that the reason I'm here is I dreamed big dreams. I dreamed the kind of dreams that other people said would not be possible. I cannot offer you any specific secret recipe for success, the perfect plan, how to reach the pinnacle of success in the business. But my own experience suggests that starting from scratch and achieving much more than what I dream about is quite possible. But if you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. But the good thing is, you can make a decision and take control now. Remember something. A year from now, you may wish you had started today. So, what's your story?
I hope you enjoyed and inspired watching this individual become successful despite of their own limitations. Some of us suffering limitations not only in physical, financial, but also mental, emotional, spiritual, social, or other aspects in our life. Now, it is your time to evaluate your own limitations and possibilities for your transcendence. And for your activity, use the given format as your guide. Direction: complete the chart by writing your limitations and make an action plan toward transcendence. Are you done? Class, I'm excited to check and read your answer. And now, let us apply what you have learned. What are your limitations as a person? Yes, Juanita. My limitation as a person, I can climb, but I can't swim. I can cook chicken dishes, but I can't kill live chicken. What are the things that you consider as difficult or hard for you to accomplish or believe in? Yes, Juan. My most difficult or hard for me to accomplish or believe in is able to finish my study until college. Supposed to be now, I am in first year college, but I need to stop 1 year in schooling to have work in order to help my family because my father has a serious disease until now and my mother's work is lavandera. And I have 4 siblings and I am the eldest. I am now grade 12 student. I am working student. I am worried that I can be able to proceed in college. Even now, college is free, but I need also to support my foods, travel, projects, and other important things that need to be financed as a college student. And almost of my income go to my family. Juan, How can you transcend from your current limitations? My plan to transcend this financial limitation are the following. I am starting seeking scholarship with monthly allowance and I am looking for a night job. Very good one. We're praying that your father will get well soon and you can find scholarship and a night job that can help you to proceed and finish college. Do you have any clarification? If none, let us summarize what you have learned. When can you say that you are in the state of transcendence? Yes, Pedro. When I will surpass or go beyond my limitation. Very good. Let us apply what you have learned. Based on your activity with title Revitalize Me. Number 1. Do you see yourself improving in 5 to 10 years' time? Yes, Juanita. Yes, ma'am. For number 2, Juanita, how can you say that you are improving? Yes, ma'am. As I said recently, I can swim. But my father said that I am learning know how to swim because I can float in the water in a minute. Wow, that is good, Juanita. Keep practicing until you know how to swim. Class, kindly answer your assessment test. Give at least 2 school learning difficulties that you considered as your limitations as students and the possibilities for their transcendence. For me, one of my learning difficulties in school that I considered as my limitation as a student is I find hard in the subject math application. What possibilities for the transcendence, Miss Gloria? I always ask help for my classmates to have per tutoring. And I always ask help for my subject teacher and he or she will give me remedial class. Sometimes I will watch YouTube tutorial to supplement my learning difficulty because not all the time my classmate and teacher is available in their time. Very good, Miss Gloria, that you find ways to go beyond your limitation. That is why, class, don't hesitate to ask for help from your classmates and teachers if you encounter learning difficulties in school. Because of this discussion we have, class, we know each other, but I want to know more about your class. So kindly do this activity at your home. Make a poster showing your own limitations and possibilities for your transcendence. Below is a rubric used in giving score to your poster. Thank you and goodbye, class.